Yeah.
Okay, so we're good to go. Welcome, everybody. And today we're going to talk about how venture capitalists choose their investments. We know, especially on the cryptocurrency side, there are a multitude of investment opportunities, and VCs do have a set criteria of what they look for and evaluate before they make an investment decision. And so many things come into play, including the team, the business concept, the market opportunity, uh, so much. So we have a very great panel of very successful people in the field. Some I am very proud to call friends. I am going to let everyone I will introduce you, and you can give everybody an intro as to who you are. And we will start with Allan Ta, founder and CEO of Roseon Finance. Allan, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yes, hello. Is this space being broadcasted under Roseon? Just wondering. Or is it?
Yes.
Yeah, under Roseon.
Okay, under Roseon. Okay. Okay. Welcome everybody. This is actually our first episode, and nice to have our two good friends, Patrick, Marc, and three, and Audrey. So Roseon Finance is a C DeFi product. A C DeFi, C meaning centralized, decentralized financial um, product. So the goal is to combine centralization with decentralization, and we want to be able to bring um, DeFi liquidity, and as well as NFTs within access of a mobile interface. So we are a mobile app. We're on the iOS and the Android store. The idea is just to replicate what's happening in the DeFi space and make it available to the mass. So the goal is to make it as easy as possible, the least clicks as possible, so that our new users who are curious about crypto and DeFi make it easy for them to invest and capitalize on the yield that DeFi investors are enjoying. Yep, that's Roseon Finance.
That's great. That's great. Now, Patrick, how about you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you?
Yep, definitely. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I've joined Roseon Finance as their strategy advisor since early April this year. Previously, I was from Rock Capital, and I was involved in deal sourcing and portfolio operations for over 20 of our invested companies, where I actually handle business development, partnerships, regional marketing, and also PR strategies. And currently, apart from advising Roseon Finance and helping Allan, I'm also advising a couple of other projects, Transcend Protocol from the Swan ecosystem, and also leading regional marketing efforts at Mintrust Finance. And really honored to share the stage with everyone here tonight. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Patrick. And Marc, co-founder of DCI Capital.
Yes. So I think DCI, for people who don't know, is short for Dutch Crypto Investors. As the name says it a bit, like we're based in the Netherlands, founded in 2017. Our portfolio of this year is like 85. How much is it? I think 85 projects and counting. And there are a lot of notable projects that we did this year. Of course, Roseon. Roseon is one of them. But yeah, there's a huge list of names that I could name up. But it's an honor to be on the stage with all of you here. And also, as Patrick, also a strategic advisor for some other projects. But again, glad to be here.
Thanks. And thank you for being here. So a little bit about me. My name is Audrey Nesbitt. I am Chief Marketing Officer for CryptoChicks, which is a nonprofit educational hub in the blockchain cryptocurrency space. We started in Toronto as a meetup, and we've now expanded to chapters all over the world, including our recent chapter in Vietnam. And thank you, Roseon Finance, for sponsoring that. We have also since expanded into become an academy, and also the last couple of years we have run successful hatchery, and where we have brought up projects through the space, including the recent launch of Métis DAO, which had a very successful launch not too long ago. So here we are today talking about how venture capitalists choose their investments. So, Allan, we'll start with you. Please share with us how you raised over $2 million in seed and private rounds with top blockchain funds.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, thanks to the two gentlemen on this call, Marc and Patrick. They both were and are very active supporting us, and they invested into us. So, for those who are listening and probably want to learn how VCs invest, how this project Roseon Finance came about was it was just all bootstrapping, and we built this app. It took about nine months to build, and then when we felt that it was ready to be presented, it was during that time it was a very bullish market. So then we made the quick decision to fundraise, and of course it was very being in the bullish market, it was easier to raise, but at the same time we had a little bit of a our product was different than the others. First of all, it's got this beautiful pink flower, right? And then we're actually an app, and we're a mobile app, and actually it was MVP status, so people were able to download and test the app out. And then of course having having a very good pitch deck and having a great plan on how to execute, and I believe that because we also have a very good team behind us to help us build. So our CTO and even our quant guy, all of us were like we've been in the blockchain space since 2016-17, so we've been around the block and we know what the market wants. So we decided to build something that the market wanted, and of course that's how I met these guys. We did an amazing fundraising event, and then we did a duo IDO on two great launch pads, and it was great. It was fun. But now we're and then now we're just continuing to fulfill the roadmap and build an awesome product for our fans. We have about 100,000 people in our community now. We've attracted a lot of interest. So thank you for everybody who's helped us contribute to this so far. It's not success yet. So far, have taken us this far. Yeah.
That's great. And so I'm going to give you like a quick question, and as somebody that's going after investment funds, you understand how you have to get to the punch right away. So what is the unique selling point of Roseon? What brought investors in? The elevator pitch. Go.
Yeah. So I think it was it's just because we have an app, a mobile app, and we're a CDeFi project, and we launched on Binance Smart Chain. So this was what was very popular then. There's not many or centralized custodial apps out there that can connect to DeFi services, and then of course we also integrated with OpenSea. So we have an art gallery, an NFT gallery in our app. So it's about the product. We had a product, a working product.
That's great. So Marc, when you started DCI, did you think you would be where you are today, looking back?
Funny story. Actually, no. Like in 2017, we started this all more from, like we needed a sense of a following and a community. And we started off connecting, like projects like One Chain, like actually starting meetups. And then after that, we saw that we had, like a knack for it. So then we went into the investing side, and ever since it has been such a great ride. We have, like we have our ups and downs, but we learn a lot along the way. And it's like it's growing with each day. And it's exceeding all my expectations thus far.
That's fantastic. That's really amazing. And now, Patrick, a lot of us here listening have our own projects coming up, or down the pike, so to speak. I think some of us would like to understand a little bit more how VCs think. What drives the investing decision?
Yep, thank you for the question. So I guess how I can explain is I'll talk about how I think in my due diligence process. So basically, I usually focus on four things: use case, the team, the backers, and the tokenomic design. So the use case is being the most important because I need the project to be value creating for me to believe in your idea and therefore invest and help out, right? And the quality of the team actually follows after because I need competent people I can trust to make sure that they can capture the value they have spotted in the space. Therefore, that's why they went for that solution. And the backers are also extremely important because no one can do everything on their own. You need a network of resources and expertise to make things happen. And lastly, tokenomics, because I need you, or rather the project, to capture and retain value that you're creating with a brilliant idea. And tokenomics come in last because this is something we can fix together after investments are made. But still, it's important to have the foundation set right from the very, very beginning. So these four aspects is what VCs would think from. Yeah, at least for myself. Yeah.
And I have to admit, the token economics, it may not be visible at first, but once you start having users, and then once you start building a lot of traction with your app, tokenomics really, really counts. A solid foundation, a solid tokenomics will help. So yes, we're always thinking about adjusting and modifying tweaking our tokenomics to improve the token value and then the utility of the token. So I agree with that, Patrick.
That's great. And now, Patrick, what in this current, well, we're kind of hopefully coming out of it, but our recent bear market, how have you been helping projects cope, in this time?
Right. So in the bear market, I think that you have to have the right network. After all, when you're talking to VCs, network is the bread and butter. However, to be a good value add to projects as investors, I don't think that we should simply look to just provide network. So for projects, it's good that you tap into the minds of your investors to further understand how you can better leverage off these networks that they are bringing to you. And these investors that you're working with, they would have seen the operations of many, many projects. And there are wells of knowledge which can provide you the right direction and playbook to succeed. And in this bear market, seek to build a product that actually creates value and work with your investors to drive the development of your product and continue making sustainable growth on continued innovation in this space. And work with investors that can truly understand the psyche of your users. Make sure that the product you're building is user-centric, because with the right understanding of the people that you're building for, you can attract and attain and retain the right type of users, and the value that you're creating, you can retain it in your ecosystem. Yeah.
That's great. This is awesome. I'm learning so much. There is a statement, and as a marketing person, I hate like these very broad statements, but it's think like a VC and pitch the way VCs think.
Can I add in a little point? I think
yes.
that the people here are they want to hear a real conversation. So when Bitcoin crashed and every token went below the price that when maybe 60 to 70%, including our token. I did have a chat with Patrick, so and he's very good. He helped me give us a lot of tips on how to cope with the situation that we are in. And, so we're like, Patrick, man, what the hell's going on? We're trying so hard. We're building every day, and our token is below ideal price, right? And he's like, well, you guys are actually, I'm in your chat, and I'm seeing all of the results that you guys are sharing. You guys are communicating with everyone. You guys are being very transparent, and you guys are actually doing well, communicating and keeping everybody informed. It's just the market. So just put your heads down and just keep building. Just keep building. So that was good. That was good. That was from Patrick.
Yep.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Allan. Yep.
Sounds like Patrick is an advisor you want on your team, right? And Marc.
Even Marc. I mean, even Marc, even though he's not labeled an advisor, he's called me a couple of times. And he's like, Allan, let's talk. Let's catch up. Here's what I can do. You need this. You need that. So these guys are always offering help. So I mean, in reverse, when you're choosing, I mean, VC is going to have to choose who they invest into. We also want to choose who wants to back us up and who's going to bring a lot of value. So these two gentlemen are fine gentlemen.
That's awesome, especially in our current market. So back to the statement: think like a VC and pitch the ways VCs think. Do you, Patrick or Marc, any advice on, or even Allan, because you've obviously successfully pitched on how? A couple quick tips on how to pitch. What do you look for?
This is quite a good one, like a good question. Like I think so. Like my first take on this quote is, if you think like VC and pitch the way VC thinks, you kind of get like the story that everybody's trying to sell. What we're trying to look for usually when we get pitched for a project is, like as Patrick says, the use case or the unique proposition, but also like how the team is looking on the long term. Like what is the vision? And if you talk like a VC, it's all more about the numbers, right? So we're actually more looking into what are they trying to accomplish, and it's not always like the numbers game. Well, like if you would think like a VC, it's more like on the number side. So I think we appreciate more like, I think the vision.
Yep. I could also give some advice for startups that are looking to want to understand VC better. So there are actually two chains of thought over here. So VCs, as what DCI has mentioned, we are actually ROI driven. We look at numbers, right? But we are also people that take calculated risk. So when we talk about ROI, we are particular about the dynamics brought about by your tokenomic design. So tokenomics actually decide how the value is going to be created and accrued, and even how the utility of the whole ecosystem you're trying to build could be dynamically valued and represented. And good token economics actually make a lot of difference, especially the VC, because you have a sustainable one, and then the ROI will naturally be better. And then when we talk about risk, we dive into the holes we find in your business narrative and your technological infrastructure. And without a strong use case, tokens are simply just a good to have. And ultimately, your underlying application must be useful. It must solve a problem, and it must cater to and build a community who is, empowered to access, use, and pay for your solution. And tokenomics, help to create a more efficient system to capture this intrinsic value. Yeah.
That's great. So this is a question kind of I'll ask everybody, and it's about biggest mistake and lesson learned. So we'll start with Allan from the project side. In regards to starting your startup, and then it'll go to the advisors for their investing side. So Allan, biggest mistake and lesson learned being a startup in the space.
Oh man, so many mistakes. I think the first is when you are raising, and if you are raising and you want to pick someone you want to pick a backer who is going to support you in the long run. Okay. And your backers, they are ROI driven, but they will help you take you to a certain level, and then you are on your own. Okay, so there's a window of time or a time frame that you have to take advantage of these this type of support. So not only VCs, but we also had lots of communities that supported us and they invested into us. And again, so you got to make sure you use those opportunities wisely, because they have millions of projects that they need to support. And when they support you, after they finish supporting you, then they have other projects to support. So use your time wisely with the people that you have available, and take advantage of everyone within you, around you, in your network, and all of your backers. That's my lesson. Is sometimes I forget that I have Marc. He's not only a VC, but he's a great UX guy, right? So, we are making some changes to the app. So I'm supposed to send him some drawings because he's offered us to look at our drawings and the new versions of our app. So stuff like that. Remember, use your resources wisely. Take advantage of that situation. That's it.
That's great advice. Now, Patrick, how about you? Biggest mistakes and lesson learned?
Yeah, I guess the lesson learned here is that this is especially for the investors in the audience. In the heat of a bull market, it's easy to lose sight of your risk management. Learn to invest with a convicted risk from a convicted risk perspective, and don't ignore red flags by when you because you tend to do that when you overfocus on, say, the plus points of a project that you are conducting your due diligence on. So be very mindful. When people get greedy, you have to be careful. And when people are careful, you get greedy. I mean, this is one of the quote by Warren Buffett, and I think that makes sense for in your investments. And for projects out there, the mistakes I have seen and have learned from is you got to make sure that the things that you're building for are user centric. So it's good that Allan has Marc on the side to help out on the user experience design, because that is something that a lot of projects, they tend to have a very narrow approach to this, because they only seek advice from a close group of people. You should look to find out more insights from people that's going to use your product. So tap into your community. You tap into the resources and network that like what Allan has mentioned. Yep.
Great. And Marc, how about you? Biggest mistake and lesson learned?
Biggest mistakes. Yeah, so as I said earlier, like we have like 85 projects for this year already going on, and it it was kind of frantic for a while, and there were like a few projects that were kind of anonymous, and we kind of gave them like our trust going forward, but that backfired. Like you see a lot of more people more and more that they want to stay anonymous, and yeah, it doesn't always work out in that sense. So I think like with everything, you live and learn. You live and learn. So yeah, it's kind of cryptic, but we're in the crypto space, so I think it's like yeah, that's the biggest mistake that I can share.
Wow. And now, for those that are listening, Marc and Patrick, for new projects, what do you want to see prepared before somebody even approaches you?
Yeah, Marc, maybe I'll go first for this. So for projects and startups out there, when you come to VCs to seek for funds and investments, make sure you come with a proper token design. I know I've mentioned this time and time again, but I can't stress enough. Tokenization does not achieve anything by itself. Your solution must solve a problem, and you must cater to a community who, will eventually be empowered to pay for the solution that you are building. And the token you eventually set out is merely an incentive layer, which helps you create and capture the value among your users. But incentivization from this isn't a new concept. We see it all around us in the real world. Companies put out incentive systems, but you as a user, you aren't really motivated to do everything just because there are incentives, right? So likewise, don't expect your tokens to be the panacea for everything. So make sure when you design your tokenomics and token utility, design it with your user in mind.
That's great advice. And Marc?
Yeah, I think already, like Patrick already touched upon it earlier, like the white paper, roadmap, team, like the first draft of tokenomics. I think those are the basics. Just start with the basics. And, like if a team has grit, it will show while you're pitching your project.
So that's great. So as we close the discussion, any tips to our listeners in regards to how to overcome this bear market?
Well, I'll go first. Yeah, so I guess a tip would be to trade logically and don't be afraid to participate in both directions of the market. So in this bear market, it's easy to trade with emotions, but it's easy to lose sight of your goals, your investment goals. But learn to stop losses and the simple trading practices. And when you're investing, invest carefully. Don't go easy on your due diligence. Put your money to use wisely. And the last thing you want to have is to have your capital locked up when the market sentiment eventually improves down the road. So, yeah, be mindful.
So when is this sentiment going to change? Everyone is saying if Bitcoin goes above 42, then we're in the green. Is that correct?
And I wish I know the answer, but I would say that things will not be that easy. Usually when there's a consensus, things go the other way. Yeah, but I would say that there's still a lot of runway in this space. This is just the beginning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, according like the TAs, they say that we are back at the 44, 45 mark. If you look at the 200 moving average, that would be the expected level for us to be actually back. So I hope that then the market sentiment is completely back.
So Marc, from a VC perspective, how have you guys been? Are you guys still looking at projects, or are you guys slowing down because of this market?
Yeah, no, like we've been still looking at projects, but like everybody is kind of I wouldn't say like wintering but hiding, but like it's more people are waiting it out. So there have been less projects that are presenting themselves, but the actual strong projects do do come out. So like we still keep on investing in some projects. We've also we also have started incubating a few projects here and there, and we're also in the midst of launching our own projects. So we've still been busy. I think that's mainly our strategy for this bear market. I mean, for this sentiment that we're currently in.
That's cool. You have a new project. I'd like to hear about that.
Yes. When it's we'll definitely give you a call when everything is up and running.
Cool.
That's great. Does anyone else anything to add before we sign off for the night or the day, depending on where we are on the planet?
Are we gonna get people to ask questions? Are we allowed in that?
I am not sure. Danny, are we allowed to open it up?
Right now, currently is a plan we don't allow them to ask, but I think we can allow them now.
Okay, so let's do that because I'm pretty sure they want to ask questions from the VCs. Well, let's try. Does anybody want to ask a question about anything?
So I think, Danny, you would have to open it up that anyone can speak, I think, right?
I think they have to click, like as a listener, you click, like you put your hands up kind of thing, and then Danny will then allow that to happen.
Maybe if you have any questions, so just send us the request to speak.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Okay. Guess not.
Maybe we can start off the like another conversation here, or like we can make this more organic.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that.
Patrick and Allan and Audrey, of course. Like, what's your view on the trends right now? If you look at the global, like if you look at the crypto space,
I
do you
can
also
start.
see?
I can start.
Sorry.
I'm seeing a lot of GameFi.
Yeah,
So game
exactly.
game NFT, is that can you guys confirm that this is the latest trend? Because Axie Infinity, everything is going to the moon. Any game NFT is going crazy. So
Correct.
it's first it started out with DeFi, and then the NFT, and then now it's the game NFT. Is that a good assessment?
Yes, that was kind of the like the thing that I was also trying to wanted to confirm here with you. So like exactly that's the same thing that I'm seeing as well,
Yeah.
and like again we were talking about promising projects, so we are definitely looking into investing in those projects. I'm wondering, like Patrick, have you also seen what's your take on this?
Yeah, personally, I think that when a trend, so for example, for this gaming NFT hype, once it's already has already exploded, you kind of already missed the boat. I don't like to chase after trend that is so evident. I would still go for like alpha in the space and look around. Like don't get too focus on what's going on. Look for what's going to come in future. I know it sounds generic and but I had like a lot of instances where we burn our hands investing and chasing this kind of like already this kind of trends that have already exploded. Yep. So previously, I guess in the first quarter or second quarter when NFT was the hype, there were a lot of NFT projects coming out. But we chose as a fund. I think we chose to delever on NFT exposure, and that kind of played well. I mean, we didn't expect the gaming NFT to come back, but we did still have some exposure, like into investments in Faraland and the other Star Atlas, like a couple of these gaming NFTs, but not too much. Yeah.
Interesting. And again, just improvising here. KCC, like the KuCoin, like we're all over this place. Like, I know you're not looking at trends so much then, but or Alan, what do you think about the newcomer of like of KuCoin community chain as like as a competitor to BNB? Is that maybe like a chain that is also interesting for Roseon?
Well, KuCoin chain isn't that what OKX tried to do and Huobi tried to do? Like they tried to have their own chain, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
and I don't think it was successful. I remember at one point Heco chain is Huobi's, right? And at one point it was really hype for a very short period of time. So I was trying, like when we were launching and we were trying to pick our chain, we were trying to talk to Huobi, Heco, but we ended up going with the mainstream BNB. So KuCoin, they did a good job recovering themselves after the number of hacks, but now they want to get into the chain business. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, OKX. Do you hear much about the OKX chain or the Huobi chain? I
No,
don't think so.
not at all.
Yeah.
No,
So
not at all.
I wouldn't bet on that. Yeah. Anyone else has any feedback on that? So what instead of the current trend, and I noticed that the trends are getting shorter. What maybe as a VC you should be able to predict 2 steps ahead, right? So what would be like the next two things, or like what are the possibilities of the next trend, right? Assuming that this trend will last 3 to 4 5 months, the gaming NFT trend. Well, what would be next? Will DeFi come back again? Because DeFi is the real deal, right? Grayscale recently launched the DeFi fund, right? And Grayscale is a super duper slow not as innovative company fund, but they do enough. They have enough data, and for them to launch a DeFi fund, it must say something, right? I haven't seen them. I don't know if they're going to launch an NFT game or an NFT fund, but I think DeFi is here to stay. So I'm hoping that after the game bubble, the people will resort back to DeFi. But anybody, any predictions of what would be the next couple of trends, possible trends? Okay.
Don't have anything on mind so far yet. So maybe Audrey or Patrick.
I'm hearing like derivatives. I'm also checking out the history and Decentraland, right? Metaverses. That hype didn't really go crazy yet. So maybe right? Maybe it's time.
Right.
So maybe the ability to so just metaverses owning a game or owning NFTs in the virtual world, and then eventually countries would allow home leases and home registrations to be on the blockchain, and maybe that will kick off because I am bullish on real estate and NFT or real estate, being on the blockchain. The idea behind blockchain or any innovation is we're supposed to shake up any really, really old traditional technology. So crypto changed the way money works, and money has been around for goddamn ever, right? So now I like and of course NFT kind of changed the digital art or revolutionized art in general and collectibles, right? Instead of printing these things, we put it on NFT. So I like to see house registrations, because homes right now, if you buy and sell a house, it's not liquid at all. It takes forever to complete a sale of a home. I'm from Canada, and there's very strict regulations on obtaining a mortgage and so forth. I'm not selling anything new here, and I'm not planning to build a real estate blockchain product. But I think that the idea is blockchain is supposed to innovate and revolutionize anything that's old and that haven't been changed for many, many millions of years. And I like to see that change. I love to see home registrations change. Selling and buying houses on a marketplace, on Rarible and OpenSea. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see more and more interaction between DeFi and the real world.
Yeah. Does anybody want to say anything? This is our first space, and I think it was good. I wanted to invite two of my favorite advisors or friends, and then of course I wanted Audrey to host. Roseon Finance, we're building. We're actually launching a lot of new things this week, but not this week, this coming month. But one of the latest update we have is we're launching. We have an airdrop through CoinMarketCap, and it's been very good. It's been very successful. We have lots of interest, and because it's in my opinion, it's the best marketing campaign we've had today. And I did talk to Patrick about this, and he did warn me that there's some repercussions following the airdrop, and that it may result in a mass dump but I think we have a remedy for that as well. So I'm just speaking. I'm trying to have this natural conversation, and I'm trying to share the conversation with myself and Patrick, because it was very recent that we talked about this, and I'm trying to make this more of a raw conversation than a scripted conversation. But yeah, so we do have a lot of things lined up so that we want to encourage our airdroppers to not sell our tokens. And I think we'll probably gain more from the community growth and from the awareness. So we're getting a lot of people. We're getting a lot of people buying our tokens as a result of this airdrop, and it's almost doubled. Okay, so we're happy, and we're always trying to bring more to the community. We have Lynn on the call, and we have our marketing team on the call, and every day we're working and we're coming up with ideas on how to improve community engagement. Right now our community size has doubled, and we want to reward them. Not only to reward them with free stuff, but keep them engaged through education. And that's why we partner with CryptoChicks, is to provide that North American standard of education. And not to say that, European or any type of education is not adequate. It's just because I'm from Toronto, Audrey is from Toronto. We have a working relationship, and she runs a very cool community, CryptoChicks, and they're focused and they're women-based, and Roseon is pink, and they do education. So I figure, hey, let's do this, right? So we're going to step up on our community game. We're going to do a lot for the community. We're going to keep you guys all educated, fun, and engaged. Just wanted to squeeze that in.
That's great. Yay, Roseon.
Yay, DCI. And G. Hey, Patrick, tell us about G2M Digital.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, so G2M is actually a new initiative that I started with one of the partner from Parrot, who has also left with me. So together we're actually starting a consultancy firm, and we are helping projects go to market. So essentially we are covering grounds like fundraising, marketing, partnerships, business development in general, and we are serving as advisors for a couple of projects under this entity. Yeah. And we do help projects help create communities and do their PR. So essentially what you have just covered is really important, and we see the importance as well. And we want to make sure that projects in this space get the success that they can from proper advice and management of their operations on this aspect.
Yep. And I can vouch for that. I can vouch for Patrick and G2M Digital. He's awesome. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this was really cool. Thank you for setting this up, Lynn and team, and of course our two guests and Audrey for hosting. I love to continue to do this, and I love to even have more just unplanned discussions, right? And I will continue to. I think we will continue to do this, and we will continue to invite cool, interesting, and very experts in the field, and we hope to have these type of open conversations. I think what Twitter Space is trying to do is trying to allow an open conversation, and it is easier to have a audio conference than a video conference. Video conference, I have to put on my makeup and clean my hair, which I don't have, and I don't wear makeup. But I think this works, and I like it because we're always on Twitter. We're always tweeting about our projects and whatever else. Might as well listen in. I follow a lot of Twitter followers and influencers, and I join in a lot of these talks. I'm a big podcast fan. And this is better than podcast. Podcast is edited and it's and it's formatted and it's planned. I like Twitter Space because it's supposed to open up and keep the conversations raw. I think that's what people want to hear.
No, I
Totally
think that's
agree.
great. It'd even be fun just to jump on and talk about updates, like what's happening with Tether and other things that are happening in the market.
Yeah. So DCI and Audrey, I think you guys are two big communities. We can do more with this stuff, and hopefully this our audience will grow. This is still new. It's still new for Twitter. Still new for people. But I love to keep doing this with DCI and with Audrey and with anyone else.
Great. All right.
Sure
On that note, let's wrap it up and let's schedule another one.
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, DCI.
Bye,
It was a
everyone.
pleasure to
Have
be
an
here.
amazing night or day.
Yes.
Pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.
Have a good one.